Elon Musk goes to jail. Who makes the random process to make the decision about life and death? Who specifically wrote decision to kill in the software? How did Odysseus protect himself from the Cyclops? That's smart. You cannot give the solutions ready. You have to give them questions or dilemmas. The lucky cat moving the hand is basically an invitation to change history. These are old myths. And they're about like, oh, the dragon, oh, the snake woman, oh, the monster. But this monster is still, today, it's called AI. In a way, the AI is a system that is intelligent. It's a creature of our mind that is present to us, and we have to fight against it, right? How do we fight against it? Well, go back in the past. How did Odysseus attack and kill or protect himself from the Cyclops? How did the Chinese in the village able to go against the dragon? How did it's the same story, except we call it the dragon. But no, it's not the dragon. It's the AI who has this ability to deceive you, right? Or this person who is enticing you. It's like, or there is this giants who want to kill you, right? How do you protect yourself from many giants who are attacking you? Well, according to the Hollywood version, you get a machine gun and kill them, right? If you can. But if you can't, you're dead, right? But they don't. They always say, like, Schwarzenegger, like this is their, which is stupid, completely stupid, right? But in the Greek mythology and the Chinese mythology, the hero is somebody very smart. He's not necessarily built and big and powerful. He's just smart. He knows how to find the weak point of the enemy, and he fights this way. So in the case of the many giants who are attacking you, what he does is he throws a stone to one of them, and the other says, like, you throw it to me. So they start fighting with one another, and they kill each other. So he basically does what we call civil war, right? So if you want to protect yourself from the superpower, I'm just giving you a modern version of it, you make them fight with inside their country, so they kill themselves. So you don't have to kill them, right? That's smart, right? But that's already in the history. If you go into the history of China, you find stories that talk about this. How do you win the enemy without fighting, right? And Greeks have the same thing. So why do we take these myths, put them into a modern version where the enemy is the AI or is the machine or is the robot or is the drone and all this kind of thing, and try to find ways to solve it? That's education, right? Not machine gun and killing people. That's stupid. That's Hollywood for entertainment, and then you basically get the wrong idea. So this is another way of the Chinese wisdom and the Greek wisdom comes into a modern version of it. And I think that is very important for the education, because we're supposed to give students in the future the means to survive and to thrive. How are we going to do that? Not with a machine gun. Definitely not. But you have to be smart to know how the system is, how it works, why it works this way, how is the weak points, how to find these weak points, how to exploit them, and how to make it work for you. Because you can make it work for you. A wild dog can become domesticated and be your friend. It will protect you from the other wild dogs. But you have to know how to find the weak point, how to make it. And this is the history of Buddhism, of Taoism, of whatever, of China, is full of examples of this kind of thing. Here's the thing. You cannot give the solutions ready. You have to give them to the students. You have to give them in a form that will make them participate in the solution of the problem. Okay? So you have to give them what I call questions or dilemmas. Like, would you do this or that? So they're both equal, so it's not like a black and white. It's gray or gray. So they have to decide on this kind of basis. They have to make decisions that actually have consequences. And these consequences will lead them to a solution or to a punishment, right? The education that the ancient Chinese use all the time and the ancient Greeks use all the time, right? And we call it didactic. Didactic, the word didactic is from the Greek word da, which means hit somebody. You punish. By punishing, by pain, you start thinking, and then you see the right way, right? You cannot just give the solution ready to the kid, because then they will not learn how to think. You have to give them a trap, and that trap makes them suffer, and that suffer, the punishment makes them wake up and find the solution on their own. That is very different. So these dilemmas are very important because they make them think. And sometimes the dilemmas that we give to the students are very philosophical and very deep philosophical. They are incorporating ideas that nobody can solve. It's almost like both are equally okay, but one of them is the right one, and you have to choose always. And so I can give you hundreds of dilemmas that we give to kids, from ethical dilemmas, the collection of myths and stories that makes the kids more intelligent and more shrewd, more capable of solving problems, instead of giving them the solution and telling them this is the right way. No, we tell them this is the wrong way, so you make it right, or a trap. Do this and they fail, and then they have to bring it back to the normals. This is very different, and these are based on very many techniques. Some are based on logic, so you have a twist of logic. It goes either way, or it could be a dilemma where you have to choose something that is almost impossible to choose, or it could be a paradox, something that doesn't make sense and yet it makes sense and you don't know why. So you have to find why, or you have to decode the logic behind it, or you have to decode the syntax of the expression of how it is, or sometimes it's based on what we call definitions, right? How you define something. So the reason why you don't understand something is because you don't understand what the words mean. Once you know the words, what the meaning is, then you understand what it is. So there are many stories like that in the book that we wrote, and and they're all in a modern version, right? So we use the old myth and the old story in a modern way. So it's more contemporary. I remember I had a story of the lucky cat. There's a lucky cat, which is, if you go into a Chinese store, there's always a little cat that does this thing over here. And I was asking the kids, do you know why it's doing this? What is it? What's the story behind it? And they don't know. I mean, most of them don't know, but I know it because they told me. And the story was that there was a king who was hunting in the forest, and there was a rain started, a thunderstorm. So he went under a tree to protect from the rain, and there was a temple next to it. And in the temple, there's a cat. And the cat moved the hand like that. So the king saw it, and he decided to go and see what the cat wants. And the moment that he approached the temple, a thunder hit the tree that he was a few minutes earlier and destroyed all the area around it. He realized that if the cat hadn't told him to go, he would have died, right? So this was a proof that the cat was intelligent enough. So he thought the cat saved his life. And then he took that cat and made it into a domesticated. He took it and he gave money to the temple. That's the story of it. And that's why it's called the lucky cat, because it changed history. It changed the way that the king would have died had he not been seen the cat moving the head. So moving the hand is basically invitation to change history. That's what it means.
Fate.
That's why it's lucky. Yeah, fate. You change the fate, right?
Or
The Chinese, the Japanese have the same story with ninjas. Ninjas are trying to kill the king. The king is moving along a parade, and the ninjas are all around them to kill him. And at some point, the cat comes in again and moves the hand. So the king stops the whole thing, and the assassination attempt is stopped because he didn't go at the right time. Everybody was programmed to attack him at the right time when he goes at this spot, right? But he never went to that spot because he stopped for the cat. So everything changed, so they ruined the plan. That was the story. But again, one of the students would tell me, like, why did the king go under the tree? If he's a king, which was a good question, because in the old times, okay, because he didn't know there was a thunderstorm, maybe. It was like, it's a myth, right? Who cares? But it was a good question. So I said, okay, yeah, good question. So we changed the myth to make the same story again of the cat, but not with a king, but with a CEO of a company. Now he's more powerful, right? And he's in a limousine, right? And he's going to the board meeting, right? Now it gets, the kid is more. And the cat came up and stops So everything changes, right? They were trying to assassinate him in the board meeting, but now they cannot assassinate him because he never went to the board meeting because of the cat. Now everybody makes sense, right? There's no rain under the tree and no so I'm just saying that these are myths, contemporary myths, that we put them in a new context. Or the story of the train, or like there's an old story about how you choose between A and B. Like if there is a train going down a train wreck and it's out of control, and if you go straight, there's one person, then it will kill it. But if it turns, then it goes and kills 5 people. But somebody has to turn it, so somebody has to make the train kill the 5 people. So the question is, if you are the person who controls, if you let it go, it will kill 5 people. But if you turn, it will kill only 1 person. But you would be responsible for killing that 1 person because you moved it, so it turned it. So you're responsible for killing the 1 person, even though you save 5 people. But if you do nothing,
You
will
kill 5 people.
Right, but you did nothing. You're not responsible for it as a person.
But you did nothing. But you, as a murderer, you witness.
You missed it, but you didn't kill anybody. You didn't change the fate of things, right? This is the classic myth in the let's say the Enlightenment age. The same myth today is in AI, is where there's a driverless car, and the car is driving on a highway, and there's a tunnel coming, and there is a passenger, which is not controlling the car, it's just sitting there, and then there is the car moving towards the tunnel. But a kid in the neighborhood drops the ball in the street and goes to pick it up. So it's in front of the car, which is going with a high speed. So the car, the AI, has to make a decision. If I go straight, I hit the kid. If I go on the side, I hit the wall and I hit the passenger. So what should it do, right? And this is an ethical dilemma that involves no human. Because now we have to make a decision of what the AI should do. But the AI is not a human. We cannot blame it for doing it, right? So now we have a AI dilemma that involves, first of all, a decision, and second, a choice. Should I kill the kid or the old, let's say there's an older person in the passenger seat? Who is more valuable for society, number 1? Number 2, should I make it 50-50? It's a 50-50. If I go left, I kill the kid. If I go right, I hit the passenger, right? Then who makes the blame? Who flips the coin? Right? That's another thing. Who makes the random process to make the decision about life and death? Right? That's not a human anymore, right? These are AI dilemmas that are put into the context of...
Do you have the third question about this story?
Yeah, we can make any kind of versions of it.
I will think about it if driverless car hit the kid or hit the passenger, hurt the passenger. Does the AI need to go to jail?
That's another question, right? Yeah, in Arizona, they were testing the car. There was a passenger which was supposedly checking to see if the system is okay, working. It was going at a certain speed, but there was a woman with a bike, and she was walking the bike. She was a homeless woman, had bags on the bike. So the car confused. It didn't know it was a bike, it was a human, it was bags, and went straight and hit the person and killed her. So there's a dead body on the street. And the question is, what do we do with this dead body? The police comes in and they said, we have to find who killed her. And they found there's no passenger, there's no driver. So they have to find who is responsible, because the family of the person who died wants to find the person who killed. You can't say, oh, nobody did it. Somebody has to be found. So somebody must be found according to law. The law says that if there is a dead body, you have to find the murderer. It cannot be nobody. So who is the person? So are you going to go after the woman on the side, which she was not capable to stopping? It was too fast. Thing happened within. No human could react that fast. So it's impossible for her to react. Should we go after the company who wrote the software? Or if we go after the company of the software, who specifically wrote the decision to kill in the software, right? And if there's a random process, is the random responsible? Or do we take CEO of the company? Elon Musk goes to jail because it's a mystery story, right? We don't know who is responsible, because the whole thing is, again, like you said before, who goes to jail? I mean, the car? I mean, probably the car, more probably the random processor who decided to go straight. Maybe the code will go to, but these are not human elements, right? So the question is, who is responsible? But this is that the book is full of these kind of questions. We're talking about that because we try to make the kids more, or the students more responsible of making decisions. And decisions are not going to be easy. You're not going to get like everything ready in a dish, right? You're going to have to fight. You have to learn how to fish, not how to eat fish, right? It's different things. So you have to be smart. And the fish is not easy because the waves are big and the boats are small, and you have to find ways to kill the monster and get into the ocean, get the fish and eat. Otherwise, you die. So it's a much more complicated world, but the stories are the same. We still go back to the ancient Greek and to the ancient Chinese philosophy. So that is why I think Asia, or whatever, the ancient civilizations have much more high ability to survive the AI wave than the modern societies who don't know these ancient wisdoms.